Well, let's talk about career advice.
Yeah.
And just because we just have a few minutes here, I guess the first thing that springs to mind is I'm wondering what set of skills or what trait it is that you see that employers are looking for that is different than might have been the case 3, 4, or 5 years ago. What is it? These economies changed so much.
Right. Well, I had a great conversation with an executive at a telecom company last week, and I said, what have you seen happen in the last 20 years? He's been with this company for 23 years. He said, initially we wanted to hire jack of all trades people. And then he said, a few years later, we wanted to hire people with computer skills. And now he said, what we're looking for are people who are jack of all trades, have computer skills, and are excellent with customer service. So what I got out of that was, there might not be one plug-in magic skill that opens a lot of doors. What I see to be really effective in the market today is being able to target what you offer based on what they need. You might just have a bit of training in one particular area, but that's the hot button for them. So keeping tabs on what seems to be in demand and then exposing yourself to that in whatever way you can. Online training,
how do
something.
you do that? How do you keep tabs on what it is employers want? I mean, it's a big marketplace out there.
It is. So I'm not a huge fan of online ads as a job search method, but they can be a great research tool. So if you take your specialty, plug in some keywords about your title, and then just do a cross-section review of what are they asking for. Maybe there's a particular technology application that's popping up over and over again, and it's not something that you have in your toolbox. So you figure out how to get it in your toolbox. And it's an ongoing evolution. Just like the market is evolving so fast now, our skill sets need to be renewed over and over.
Yeah. What is it that you would say to people who do need to stay on top? I mean, so many of us are working not 40 hours a week anymore. Well, maybe we never were working 40. But we lost sight of that a long time ago. But we're working even more than ever and trying to do all the other things. And who feels like they can even take an hour or 2 or 3 a week to go back and invest in their own careers and that training? How do you work that out?
Well, a couple ideas around that. I like 5 minutes toward the future. If you can get in the habit of spending 5 minutes a day reviewing what seems to be in demand in your industry, in your specialty, and then investing a bit of time. It might just be sending an email to someone in your network about what do you know about this trend, so that you're on top of it. And then often you can work with your employer to add in some time if it's to their benefit. So could I spend 2 hours a week working on this particular degree program, for instance, that will help me position the company to be more competitive in the future? You can do a little negotiating that way. It's a priority setting exercise, but it's something we have to stay on top of. Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of the conversation I've been hearing about. You know, everyone who is a professional in any way needs to have a Facebook page, needs to have a LinkedIn page, that sort of thing. And you need to be feeding it every day, updating it constantly, getting out there, making those connections. But again, it's an add-on, and it feels like this isn't a core part of my job. This is more about me. So how do I justify or even just find that time?
Yeah, if you can look for ways to do double duty. For instance, lately I've been researching some trends related to different areas, and then I would Twitter about it, put a posting on my LinkedIn page. So I'm keeping myself current and then sharing that knowledge, which positions me more as an expert, and it keeps me on current.
I would think in your line of work that would be pretty important.
Yes, and I think regular professionals can do that too. It might not be something they would normally think about, but it's something that they could work toward.
Right. Does it work out well for you?
It does work out really well for me. Plus, I like that I'm plugged in that way. It feels better.
Right. So, do you have any thoughts on, just broadly speaking, on what sets of skills most people need to be thinking about upgrading?
Well, technology is huge right now, and not everyone is on the technology bandwagon, or they think they're not. So just finding some way to expose yourself to that. For instance, I've recently learned how to do a little bit of video editing. I never thought I'd be doing that, but it's opened so many doors, and I have more confidence. So good technique for someone who is feeling stuck or not sure sure how to proceed, find a degree program that they can commit to over the long term and then start taking some small steps. For instance,
Right.
I do some work with DeVry University. They have a number of hot areas that they're focusing their programs toward now. You don't necessarily need to know it all, but if you get involved, then you can start growing in that direction, mini step by mini step. Thank
Sure.
you for spending some time with me.
Sure.
I have more information on my website at careersolutionsgroup.net, and then the DeVry site is devry.edu.
Career
Solutionsgroup.net,
Group.
that's with an S, yeah, and then devry.edu.